You're listening to the Top One English Plus podcast.
Welcome to Top One English Plus, the podcast where we explore global trends to elevate your English fluency. I'm your host, and today we're taking an advanced look at a date that feels like science fiction, but is actually right around the corner.
It really is. Today, we aren't just looking at data points. We're kind of time traveling. I want you to close your eyes for a second, unless you're driving, of course, and imagine it is Friday, February 6, 2026.
Friday, February 6, 2026.
Friday, February 6, 2026. You know, when you say it like that, it feels incredibly distant. But looking at the calendar, it's practically tomorrow.
It is.
We had a massive stack of research on the desk today. Forecasts from WGSN, consumer reports from Euromonitor, deep data from Boston Consulting Group. And I have to be honest with you, I've read through these. I was expecting flying cars and robot butlers.
The classic future.
The classic future. Instead, I'm seeing a lot of psychology, a lot of detailed notes on shopping algorithms. Is 2026 really going to be that radically different, or is this just, consulting hype? That's a fair question. It's a fair skepticism. I mean, if you're looking for a cityscape straight out of Blade Runner, you might be a little disappointed. The buildings will look the same, the roads will mostly look the same. But if you look at the infrastructure of daily life, how we process emotion, how we spend our money, and who holds the economic power, that's where the shift is. It's profound.
So it's not about the scenery changing.
No, it's about the actors and the script changing.
Okay, I like that distinction.
Okay.
It's an internal shift rather than an external one.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to decode this new world for our listeners. We need to help them speak confidently about these changes using high-level English.
Absolutely.
And looking at our roadmap, we have 3 distinct pillars to cover.
We do. First, and I think this is the most important, we have to get inside the consumer's head. The psychological profile of 2026 is radically different from, say, the early 2020s.
How so?
We're going to talk about a persona called the Gleamer and a fascinating concept called minor stones.
Gleamers and minor stones. Okay. And then we move to demographics.
Then we hit demographics. Generation Alpha. I feel like we often dismiss them as just iPad kids, but the data suggests they're evolving into something much more formidable.
Which is?
Digital architects.
Digital architects. I like that. It sounds active.
Exactly. They are the builders. And finally, the technology. We are leaving the era of search. If you think Googling things is the peak of efficiency, well, 2026 has a surprise for you.
Oh.
We're entering the age of Agentic Commerce.
Agentic Commerce. Sounds a bit ominous, like the machines are taking over.
It can sound that way, but we'll break it down.
Okay, let's get there. But let's start with the human element. You mentioned the psychological profile has shifted.
Yeah.
We've spent the last few years talking about burnout, the permacrisis, this global sense of stress. By 2026, are we still just tired?
We are. But our reaction to that fatigue has evolved. It's become more sophisticated. The WGSN forecasts describe the mood in 2026 as a direct reaction to what they call the Great Exhaustion.
The Great Exhaustion. It's a heavy term, but it feels accurate.
It really does. But here's the pivot. Instead of giving up or spiraling into despair, people are engaging in a very specific, proactive behavior. They are becoming gleamers.
Gleamers. Okay, let's unpack that. It sounds a bit poetic, almost romantic for a consumer report. Is this just another marketing buzzword for optimist, or is there something deeper here?
There's definitely something deeper. It's actually rooted in neurobiology, specifically the work of Deb Dana and something called polyvagal theory. You know what a trigger is, right? A stimulus that sends you into fight or flight.
Sure. A trigger is danger. It's stress. It's that email from your boss at 9 p.m. on a Friday.
That's the perfect example, exactly. Well, a glimmer is the biological opposite. It's a micro-moment, a tiny cue that tells your nervous system to feel safe, connected, and regulated.
So not a huge event, just small.
Tiny. It could be the warmth of a coffee cup, the sound of a bird, a text from a friend. A gleamer is a consumer who has consciously or unconsciously stopped chasing the big, impossible macro goals.
The ones that are often the sources of stress.
Right. And is instead actively hunting for these micro moments of safety and joy.
So wait, I have to play devil's advocate here. Is this just lowering the bar? Are we saying, I can't afford a house and the world is chaotic, so I'll just sit here and enjoy this really nice cup of coffee? I mean, it sounds a little bit like giving up.
I see why you'd say that. And in a cynical way, you could see it that way. But economically and psychologically, it's a massive pivot in agency. It's about taking back control over your emotional state.
How is it agency? It sounds passive.
It's active searching. The hustle culture of, say, 2022 is effectively dead in this forecast. The Gleamer prioritizes presence over productivity. They're decluttering their homes and their schedules not to be more efficient workers, but to create space for joy.
So the goal isn't an empty inbox, it's a peaceful afternoon.
Precisely. They aren't lazy, they are protective of their peace. It's a defensive strategy against a world that feels overwhelming.
Protective of their peace. I like that phrasing. And that connects directly to that other term you mentioned in the intro, milestones. I assume this is a play on milestones.
It is a very direct one. Think about the traditional big M milestones: marriage, mortgage, a big promotion, retirement.
The things that are becoming statistically harder to achieve, or at least significantly delayed, for anyone under 40, really.
Precisely. The timeline for those major life events is stretching out due to all sorts of economic friction. So what's the alternative? Does everyone just sit around waiting for their life to start?
No, I guess not.
No, they pivot, they start celebrating minor stones, they create their own milestones.
Give me a concrete example. What counts as a minor stone in 2026? What are we talking about here?
It could be anything that marks personal progress or joy. A friendiversary, celebrating a decade of friendship with a dinner that might cost as much as a traditional wedding gift.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Or a gotcha day for a rescue pet, celebrating the day they joined the family. Or even something as, niche as finishing a really difficult video game or reading a classic novel series like War and Peace.
Right, something you've been putting off forever.
Yes, it's about acknowledging the journey, not just the destination.
And brands are actually monetizing this, it seems. I don't know, a bit small scale.
It seems small, but the volume is massive. Think about it. You only get married once or twice, if at all. But you can celebrate minor stones monthly, even weekly. We're seeing registry services pop up where you don't ask for blenders for a wedding, you ask for hiking gear because you finally completed a specific, challenging trail. It validates that life is happening now.
So it's a rejection of that old idea.
Exactly. The idea that you are only successful if you hit these traditional pre-approved markers. This is about defining success for yourself.
I see. It's validating the intermediate steps. It's reclaiming the narrative of success. That makes a lot of sense. Now, sticking with this psychological landscape, Euromonitor had a statistic that worried me slightly.
I think I know the one you mean.
They mentioned the comfort zone trend, stating that 58% of consumers feel extreme stress daily. That seems incredibly high for a society that's supposedly focusing on glimmers.
That's the paradox, isn't it? The stress is the driver. It's not a contradiction, it's cause and effect. Because the world feels so volatile, the demand for emotional reassurance in the products we buy is skyrocketing.
People want their products to, hug them?
In a way, yes. They want things that make them feel safe and cared for.
Emotional reassurance. That sounds like we all need therapy, not a new pair of shoes.
Chuckles. Well, you could say retail therapy is getting much more literal, and this is where the trend of nostalgia remix comes in so strongly.
Nostalgia's always a trend, though.
Yeah.
We always see 80s or 90s fashion coming back.
But this is different. It's deeper. We aren't just seeing retro fashion. We are seeing a complete remix of intellectual property. It's not just watching a 90s movie. It's interacting with those characters in a new 2026 context.
So it's not just a rerun. It's the old characters dealing with modern problems or in a new story.
Exactly. Or a video game that lets you explore the world of a beloved old film. It provides the safety of the familiar. You know these characters, you love them. But with the dopamine hit of something new, it's safe excitement.
Safe excitement. It's like riding a roller coaster you've ridden 100 times. You know you won't fall out, but it's still a thrill.
That is the perfect analogy. And for those who find even that roller coaster too much, we have the rise of JOMO.
The joy of missing out. We've heard this before, haven't we? It's been around for a few years.
We have, but in 2026, JOMO isn't just a hashtag for staying home on a Friday night. It's a status symbol. Digital detox has gone from a niche habit of tech billionaires to a mainstream luxury travel sector.
Meaning what, exactly?
People are paying a premium to go to places where their phone literally does not work. Hotels with signal blocking technology, retreats where you check your devices at the door.
That's fascinating. We used to pay for connection, better Wi-Fi, faster data plans. Now we pay a premium for disconnection.
The ultimate luxury is being unreachable. It paints a picture of a society that's consciously trying to heal its own nervous system.
It really does. It's like a collective deep breath. But, and here's the twist in the research, while the adults, the millennials and Gen X, are trying to heal and disconnect.
The next generation is wiring themselves in deeper than ever before, but in a completely different way.
Right, let's pivot to these new power players, Generation Alpha. These are the kids born between, what, 2010 and 2025?
That's the cohort. The oldest ones are 16 now. In 2026, they are driving cars, they are working part-time jobs, they have debit cards and digital wallets.
I've heard them called iPad kids or mini millennials, but the Boston Consulting Group report uses a very different term, digital architects. That implies they are building something, not just passively watching screens.
That distinction is absolutely critical, and it's where many businesses get it wrong when they try to mart it to them. Gen Z, your generation, roughly were digital natives.
Right, we grew up with the internet.
You grew up scrolling feeds. You were the ultimate audience. You consumed what was served to you on platforms like Instagram or TikTok.
Hey, I created some content. I posted photos. I wrote a few status updates.
Chuckles. You posted photos. Gen Alpha is coding the platform that the photos are on. They grew up on Roblox and Minecraft. For them, entertainment isn't passive, it's participatory.
What do you mean by that?
If they can't mod the game, change the character skins, or use a simple AI tool to rewrite the ending of the story, they are bored. They expect to be able to participate. They don't want to watch the movie, they want to direct the sequel.
So they treat the internet like a box of Legos rather than
a television, exactly. It's an active medium for them, a world-building tool.
Yeah.
And this mindset completely changes how they interact with brands and spending. They are co-purchasers.
I saw that term in the notes, co-purchaser. It sounds like they're chipping in on the electric bill.
Not quite the bills, no, but almost everything else. Because they are often the most tech-literate members of the household, they act as the de facto CIO, Chief Information Officer, for the family unit.
The family's CIO.
Think about it. When the family needs a new TV or a car or is planning a vacation, who is doing the research? The parents might start, but Alpha is the one deep diving into the specs, comparing prices across 20 websites and reading the user reviews.
So they're the research department.
And the ethics department. They find the ethical ratings of the company, they check the supply chain, they have immense influence over their parents' wallets because they hold the information.
Let's talk about that ethical rating. Is that real? I mean, I feel like every generation says they care about sustainability, but then they go out and buy fast fashion because it's cheap. Is Alpha really different?
The data suggests they are, fundamentally. For Gen Alpha, transparency isn't a bonus feature, it's a baseline requirement. If a brand hides its supply chain or won't talk about its labor practices, Alpha doesn't give them the benefit of the doubt. They just assume the worst and move on.
So no answer is a bad answer.
Exactly. They are incredibly cynical about corporate greenwashing. They have the tools to fact-check claims in seconds, and they will.
They sound intense.
They're pragmatists. They see the world's problems very clearly, and they don't have much patience for inauthenticity. They are also achieving financial independence much faster than any previous generation.
They're teenagers. Are we talking about allowances?
No, we're talking about the digital economy. They aren't mowing lawns for $5. They are selling digital assets and games, doing freelance graphic design with AI tools that make them as proficient as a seasoned professional, or managing online communities for brands.
They understand that money can be made in the cloud.
And they are starting young. They have a very different relationship with work and money.
But there's a contradiction here in the notes that I wanted to challenge you on. It seems like a real paradox. You say they love digital efficiency, they use AI to build worlds. But then there's this trend called the desire for friction. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would anyone want friction? We spend our entire lives trying to make things easier.
It is completely counterintuitive, isn't it? It took me a while to get my head around it. But think about it deeply. In a world where AI can generate a perfect image in 1 second, and Amazon can deliver a product in 1 hour, what has value? What feels real?
Things that are scarce, I guess. Things that take time and effort.
Exactly. Friction creates value. It proves authenticity. We see this with Q culture kids who will happily wait in line for 4, 5, 6 hours for a pop-up store to drop a limited edition sneaker.
Right, the hype beast phenomenon.
But it's not just about the status of the item. The struggle to get the item is part of the story. It proves it's real. It proves you earned it. In a world of effortless digital copies, the thing that required effort is the most valuable.
So if it's too easy, it feels fake.
It feels AI generated. It feels cheap. They want unflinching honesty and imperfect icons because perfection feels artificial now. The friction validates the reality.
It's like the difference between buying a cake at a supermarket and baking one from scratch. The baked one always tastes better because you put the work in.
Correct. They want the sweat equity in their experiences.
Okay, so we have gleamers seeking safety and joy, and we have digital architects seeking friction and truth. It feels like a very complex, nuanced consumer landscape. But we haven't touched the engine that is powering all of this, the technology.
And this is the third pillar, and honestly, this is the one that is keeping CEOs up at night. We are moving from the search economy to what we call agentic commerce.
So let's break this down linguistically. Agentic comes from the word agency, the ability to act.
Exactly. Up until now, e-commerce has been fundamentally passive from the technology side. It's like a library. You go to the search bar, the librarian's desk, you type in blue running shoes, and then you do all the work.
Right. You scroll through pages, you open tabs, you filter by size, you read reviews, you compare prices, you check shipping times.
It's manual labor, essentially. That's the search era. In 2026, we are fully entering the action era.
The action era.
You have an AI agent, a piece of sophisticated software that knows your preferences, your shoe size, your budget, your running style, and even your calendar.
Yeah.
Simply say to your phone or smart speaker, get me a new pair of running shoes for my marathon next month. I want blue ones, under $100, and that's it.
Wait, so I don't browse?
Hmm?
I don't see the options? I don't get to scroll through pages of shoes?
You can if you want to. You can ask for options. But the default is that the agent goes out, scans the entire web, negotiates prices with retailer bots, cross-references reviews against your personal biometric data. Maybe it knows from your watch that you overpronate when you run, and it executes the purchase.
It buys the shoes for me.
And they just show up at your door. We are moving from large language models, LLMs, which is just talk, to large action models, LAMs, which can actually do things in the digital and physical world.
That sounds incredibly convenient, but also terrifying for brands. If I'm not browsing, I'm not seeing their carefully crafted ads. I'm not being seduced by a banner with a celebrity in it.
Bingo. This is the SEO apocalypse that marketers are fearing. The entire industry of search engine optimization was built on catching human attention.
Getting to the top of the Google page.
Yes. But if an AI is making the decision based on pure data price, shipping speed, material quality, ethical score, a catchy billboard or a celebrity endorsement doesn't matter unless it translates into a quantifiable data point.
So what do brands do?
They have to shift from SEO to GEO.
GEO.
Generative engine optimization.
So brands are now optimizing their product descriptions and data feeds to be read and preferred by machines, not humans.
Precisely. They need to convince the algorithm that their product is the statistically best match for the user's request. It becomes a game of data, logic, and specs, not just emotional marketing.
This feels like it removes the serendipity of shopping. You know, the joy of stumbling upon something cool that you didn't even know you wanted.
That's a valid concern and one that people are talking about. But the stats show that, especially for repeat or utility purchases, people are ready for it. 1 in 3 Gen Z and 1 in 4 millennials already say they prefer AI platforms for shopping advice over traditional search.
That's a huge number already.
It is. They trust the math more than the marketing. They view the AI as an unbiased friend, a co-shopper.
A co-shopper.
Yeah, especially in fashion. 41% of Gen Z and Alpha are already using AI weekly for fashion advice. It's not just a chatbot, it's a stylist. It can visualize outfits on your avatar, it compares prices in real time, it predicts your needs.
And this leads to that other term you mentioned, zero-click consumption.
That's the ultimate endgame of convenience. Imagine your smart fridge notices you're almost out of oat milk. It doesn't send you a notification, it doesn't ask you, it just orders it. The milk shows up at your door. 0 clicks.
That requires a level of trust and data sharing that makes me a little uncomfortable, I have to admit. It feels intrusive. Do I really want my appliances spending my money without asking me?
It absolutely requires a new social contract around data. And it's all powered by hyper-personalization. And I don't just mean getting an email that says, hi, name.
We're past that.
We're way past that. We're talking about multimodal personalization.
Okay, break that down. Multimodal.
It means the AI is analyzing multiple modes of data simultaneously. Text, your voice, the images you look at, your clicking behavior, all at once. So if you log into a retail website in 2026, the AI might completely rewrite the website's layout and code just for you, just for that session.
Rebuild the website on the fly.
On the fly. If its data suggests you're a Gleamer who likes calm visuals and gets stressed by clutter, it will instantly strip out the flashing banners, use a softer color palette, and show you reassuring testimonials.
And if I'm someone else,
If it knows you're a digital architect who just wants the specs and data, it will hide the lifestyle photos and highlight the technical tables and comparison charts. No two people see the exact same homepage.
it's a mirror. The internet becomes a mirror of your own psychology.
It's the ultimate mirror. Which brings us full circle. The technology is morphing to fit the psychology. The tech is serving the Gleamer's need for ease and the architect's need for data.
Now, we've been very digital focused here, but we still live in the physical world.
Yeah.
I still have to walk down the street to get my coffee. We're not living in the Matrix yet.
Not yet, you do. But the street itself is changing. We're entering what people are calling the phygital world.
Phygital, I have to say, I hate that word. It just sounds like a medical condition. But it's sticky. It's memorable.
Yeah.
Physical plus digital.
It's the blurring of those lines. We used to think that online shopping would kill physical stores. It didn't. It just forced them to evolve into something new.
Experience centers, showrooms.
Exactly. And now, in 2026, we have mainstream AR augmented reality overlays. You might be wearing smart glasses or just using your phone's camera. You look at a store window and you can see the inventory, the prices, and whether they have your size in stock, all floating in the air.
So the store is talking to you before you even walk in the door.
It's a constant dialogue between the physical and digital layers of reality, and the advertising traffic is moving too, away from the public square of social media.
What do you mean?
I've heard this called the shift to the private domain. Brands are realizing that shouting at millions of people on an Instagram feed is incredibly expensive and inefficient, so they are moving the conversation to private channels.
Like what?
WhatsApp groups for top customers, exclusive Discord servers, WeChat communities, private email lists with real value.
So it's more intimate. It's like getting a text from a friend instead of seeing a billboard.
It is. It's about building a community and increasing lifetime value, or LTV. If I can get you into a private WhatsApp group for VIP customers, I can talk to you directly. I can whisper instead of shout. I can offer you value without fighting the algorithm. It's a much deeper relationship.
Before we move to our vocabulary section, I want to zoom out globally for a minute. We often look at these trends through a Western, maybe North American lens. But 2026 looks very different depending on where you stand on the map.
It absolutely does, and the reports highlight some incredible examples. Let's look at Dubai. They're literally launching flying taxis in 2026.
Finally. The flying cars we were promised in the 1950s.
And Dubai is delivering. These aren't just concepts, they are scheduled for commercial operation, completely redefines urban mobility. A commute from the Palm Jumeirah to the Dubai airport becomes 10 minutes instead of an hour in traffic.
That changes the entire rhythm of a city. It transforms the concept of distance.
Completely. And then you look at a country like India.
What's happening there?
India is redefining the internet's language. We are seeing a massive explosion of vernacular content. For decades, the web has been overwhelmingly English first, but the next billion users are coming online, and the massive growth in India is coming from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
And they don't necessarily speak English.
Exactly. These users want and create content in Hindi, Tamil, Gujarati, Bengali. If your brand or service isn't speaking the local language in 2026, you're functionally invisible to hundreds of millions of people.
That is a true democratization of information.
The
The internet is finally starting to speak everyone's language, not just one.
It is. And one last spotlight. Japan. Their Gen Alpha is fascinating. They are being called cultural explorers. They have this unique ability to remix hyper-global trends like K-pop or streetwear with a deep, genuine respect for traditional Japanese heritage.
So what does that look like?
It looks like wearing a traditional kimono with a pair of limited edition sneakers. It's that remix culture we talked about earlier, but applied to their own national identity. They are honoring the past while actively building a very cool, very unique future.
It seems like the whole world is in a state of remixing, old and new, human and machine, physical and digital.
It's a brave new world for sure.
It is. And because this is Top 1 English Plus, we need to make sure our listeners have the vocabulary, the tools to navigate it. We've covered some really heavy concepts, and I want to make sure you can use them in conversation. It's time for our vocabulary spotlight.
Let's do it.
We've thrown a lot of jargon around today. I want to drill down on 4 key terms that I think are the most important. The first one is that big one we just discussed, Agentic Commerce.
Right. Agentic commerce. So the definition would be a model of commerce where autonomous AI agents perform complex tasks like searching, negotiating, and even buying on behalf of a human user.
And the context here is really important.
It is. The context is that it marks the fundamental shift from the user doing the administrative work of shopping to the software doing that work for you. It's a move from browsing to instructing.
How would you use that in a sentence?
A good example would be, I was too busy to shop for all the holiday gifts, so I relied on Agentic Commerce to find and buy the perfect books for everyone on my list based on their reading history.
I look forward to that day. Okay, next up is that word I love to hate. Phygital. That's Phygital.
Phygital. It's a portmanteau, a linguistic blend of the words physical and digital. The definition is an experience that seamlessly integrates digital technology into the physical world, making the boundary between them almost invisible.
And the key context.
The context is that it's not just about using a phone in a store, it's about the store itself reacting to your phone and your digital presence in real time.
Okay, give me a sentence for that one.
The new museum offered a phygital tour where paintings on the wall came to life and told their own stories through my AR glasses.
Excellent. Third term, and this one is quite sweet, I think. Minor stones.
Minor stones. The definition is pretty straightforward. Small personal achievements that are celebrated with the significance and enthusiasm traditionally reserved for major life milestones.
And this reflects that psychological shift we talked about.
It absolutely does. The context is that it reflects the mindset of the Gleamer, finding joy and celebrating progress in the everyday, especially because the big traditional milestones might be delayed or harder to reach.
And in a sentence?
Instead of a big party for a promotion, we're going out for a fancy dinner to celebrate the milestone of finally paying off my student loan.
A very worthy celebration indeed. And finally, the big tech term, hyper-personalization.
Hyper-personalization. So the definition here is the use of real-time data and AI to tailor an experience, whether that's content, a website layout, or the tone of a message, specifically to an individual user's immediate context and mood.
The key thing being real-time.
Yes, the context is that it goes way beyond static demographics like age or location. It adapts to your behavior in the moment.
Give me one last example sentence.
The news app on my phone uses hyper-personalization to show me uplifting human interest stories when it detects I'm stressed, and detailed financial analysis when it sees I'm focused.
That was a great breakdown. These are definitely terms that will make our listeners sound incredibly advanced and knowledgeable in any business meeting in 2026.
Absolutely. They are the new vocabulary of commerce and culture.
So as we close this deep dive, I want to try and synthesize all of this. We've got AI agents doing our shopping, we have flying taxis in Dubai, and we have people celebrating small personal victories because the wider world feels heavy. It's easy to feel like technology is taking over, or that we're all just retreating into our own small worlds.
I can see that interpretation, but I actually take the opposite view. I think this is a genuinely hopeful future.
How so? Where do you find the hope in that?
Look at the function of the technology we discussed. The agentic AI is handling the drudgery, the boring stuff, the searching, the price checking, the scheduling, the reordering. It's removing the endless admin work of modern life. And what does that leave room for?
The gleamers.
The joy, exactly. It frees up human time and energy to focus on connection, on creativity, on the minor stones. The machine handles the logistics, the human handles the living. We are outsourcing the boring parts of existence.
That is a powerful perspective. The rise of the machine allows for the reemergence of the human.
I believe so. And then you look at Generation Alpha, these digital architects, and you have a generation that is demanding truth and friction and authenticity. They aren't going to just passively let the world become a soulless, efficient simulation. They want it to be real. They're ethical, they're creative, and they're building.
So here is our challenge to you, the listener. 2026 isn't far away. Don't just passively watch these trends unfold around you. Use the vocabulary you learned today. Agentic commerce, phygital, minor stones, and start a conversation. Ask yourself, what glimmers can you find in your day today? What minor stone can you celebrate this week?
And maybe let an AI buy your running shoes so you have more time to actually go for a run and find them.
Chuckles. Ideally. If you enjoyed this advanced deep dive into the future, make sure to subscribe to Top 1 English Plus. We are here to keep you ahead of the curve in both language and ideas.
Thanks so much for listening.
We'll see you in the next deep dive. Bye for now.